Are you a fan of fictional or fantasy movies? Are you a cinephile? Or do you just want to keep up with the latest information about what's going on in the film industry? Regardless, we have you covered with this video, as we have all the details on Ewan McGregor responding to the critics of Star Wars. Hang tight and stay tuned for everything you need to know. First, what do you need to know about the rivalry going on among the Disney universes? Every time celebrities promote new projects, a flurry of quotes about their careers, most recent and from their countless back-to-back interviews, and it looks like there's some rivalry among the Disney universes as to which is superior. Recently, Star Wars veteran Ewan McGregor was questioned about if there's too much Marvel content in an interview with Metro UK after Mark Ruffalo's casual remarks on the franchise were mostly taken out of context. To keep you informed, further MCU projects have been announced since many Disney Plus programs were added with the already released theatrical films. Mark Ruffalo, on the other hand, said, "It's not something I worry about." The Adam Project actor agrees that Marvel has done something well. These things run their course before something else comes along. Marvel takes the same method as its comic books, allowing a filmmaker or actor to kind of reproduce each component to their own style, their likeness, even within the MCU, and went on to describe in more detail how Marvel typically permits them to include that style in the production. Ruffalo made the following comparison between Star Wars and Marvel. If you watch a Star Wars movie, you're pretty much going to get the same version of Star Wars every time. It might be a little humorous. Perhaps the animation is a little bit different, but in reality, you live in the same kind of universe constantly. But with Marvel, you can have a whole different feeling even within the Marvel universe, the Oscar-nominated actor noted in comparison. And so what else did Ewan McGregor say? Ewan McGregor, who plays Obi-Wan Kenobi, decided to poke fun at this since it didn't sit well with him. Most recently, he responded, "I don't know," when asked if he would join the Marvel Cinematic Universe if given a chance. "I'm not certain if I want to do that because I enjoy performing all types of jobs. It's real. I adore directing. I want to see the theater once more. I want to do this again without a doubt since I live in the Star Wars universe. In any case, I'm not searching for that. I feel like I shouldn't say I wouldn't do it because in 2 years you'll be like, you said you were never going to do this, but I'm not looking for it particularly," added the actor. Ewan McGregor talked about his experience with the new Obi-Wan Kenobi show on the same panel and said, "That's the beautiful thing about how passionate Disney, Lucasfilm, all of us who are involved with it from the beginning is that we try really hard not to let anything of the bad just to protect your experience of seeing it for the first time. I find it incredibly admirable that Disney and Lucasfilm give fans such high priority. It's a shame if you've read that and that leaked, and this came out because they really want you to enjoy it thoroughly the first time, don't you think?" Next, how did Mark Ruffalo compare the two franchises? The actor Mark Ruffalo seems to be comparing Star Wars and the Marvel Cinematic Universe honestly rather than bashing the MCU. Despite the fact that Marvel Studios and Lucasfilm are both parts of the greater Disney organization, the two properties are significantly different. It's inevitable that the two will be compared. Nevertheless, in a recent interview, McGregor addressed Ruffalo's remarks, giving the assertion that Marvel is not comparable to Star Wars a more positive twist. According to McGregor, the wonderful thing about how passionate Disney, Lucasfilm, and all of us are who have been involved with it from the beginning is that we work really hard to keep anything negative from happening in order to preserve your first-time viewing experience. So, what is the competition and what are the two major IPs in the industry? The competition to determine which IP universe is the dominant one is ongoing and will continue until Earth's final days. Let's all give thanks to Mark Ruffalo, nicknamed the Majestic Hulk, for choosing not to engage in another conflict when there was already enough material left over from the previous one, even though Marvel vs. DC has been the biggest conflict one can imagine in the world of cinema. Mark recently expressed some opinions, not all of them particularly favorable about the Star Wars world. It turns out that Ewan McGregor, who played Obi-Wan Kenobi, has chosen to cryptically hand him back. The Marvel Cinematic Universe and the Star Wars universe are the two major IPs that the studio has, and they're both under the Disney brand. They are churning out quality content quickly and prospering at God's speed. However, there is always a friendly rivalry between them, and it appears like Mark Ruffalo and Ewan McGregor are currently part of one. Up next, who's to blame for the most recent Star Wars trilogy's final failure? Some may refer to J.J. Abrams, who started off with The Force Awakens to widespread praise before utterly ruining it with the puzzling and poorly thought out Rise of Skywalker. Others will mention Rian Johnson, whose contentious second film, The Last Jedi, angered many fans for appearing to denigrate Luke Skywalker and to treat the Force, Jedi, and Sith as nothing more than titles that could be thrown out whenever it was convenient. In the most recent issue of Empire, Johnson expresses his audience's delight in his movie. I'm even more proud of it now, he tells the magazine 5 years later. I really swung at the ball when I was in the box. The goal, according to Johnson, was to get to the base, essential force of myth, not to strip it of anything. He continues, and eventually, I hope that the movie will serve as a confirmation of the influence of the Star Wars myth on our lives. Keep watching along closely. We've got everything you need to know about which is better, Marvel or Star Wars. It's coming right up. We wouldn't want you to miss out. So, what differs between Star Wars and Marvel? The way these two film franchises approach their marketing strategies is what set them apart from one another. First and foremost, Star Wars is the original film series, while the Marvel Cinematic Universe is based on a plot from the Marvel comics. Simply said, the Star Wars property has been around for more than 4 decades, whereas the Marvel Cinematic Universe has only been around for 10. The MCU, on the other hand, had already made twice as many superhero films as Star Wars, but there are plenty of other differences. Next, which is better, Marvel or Star Wars? Because both Marvel and Star Wars create heroes and characters that fans can root for, making a decision between the two is incredibly difficult. Neither one triumphs in terms of television shows, video games, comic books, special effects, movies, and merchandise. If you enjoy watching movies, reading comic books, and playing video games, you'll enjoy the Marvel series. Iron Man, the X-Men, and other well-known superheroes from the Marvel Universe are worth viewing. Your fan chakra will bounce with glee if you're a fan of the Star Wars tale franchise, since you'll be showered with box office TV shows, original movies, and souvenirs. However, in the end, everything would come down to the factors that you value most and the questions you're looking for answers to when making a decision. Lastly, are parents really naming their children after villains? Numerous Marvel and Star Wars villains have prospered on the list of rising popular baby names for infants born in the United States, according to a recent study by OrganicBabyFormula.com, as reported by Comic Book. In 2017, Metro reported that baby names derived from Marvel heroes are gradually gaining popularity, with a sizable number of them currently making up a sizable share. The top Marvel characters on the list were verified to be Parker, Peter Parker, Wade, Wade Wilson, and Natasha, Natasha Romanoff. Now, it appears that some villains from Star Wars and Marvel movies are also stealing the show when it comes to baby names. Do you agree with Mark Ruffalo's criticism of Star Wars, or do you think there has been too much recent Marvel content? Post your heartfelt thoughts in the comment box below. So now that you've got all the information related to the conflict going on, share it with your friends and recommend this video to have a better understanding. Also, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to stay updated. Thanks for watching.